Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kel Sweetie, where we read books, we make art, and during a certain time of year, we start Halloween decor hunting. I've blacked out for the last couple of weeks, and I said that I was gonna give y'all hauls every 2 weeks, and I'm a woman of my word. However, I have both gone Halloween decor hunting at Marshall's and TJ Maxx and HomeGoods and Michael's, as well as going thrift shopping and going to Savers and buying off eBay from other sellers and supporting small businesses and on Etsy and other small business websites. And what I'm looking at right now is where I put is the home base for my Halloween home decor before I film it. And I'm looking at it and it's become overwhelming to the point that people can't walk in the area. Consumerism really popped off today, ladies. No, honestly, I think that there was two things at work here, and I would like to talk a little bit about them, as well as give you a haul, because if I don't give you 2 hauls this week, y'all are getting a 2-hour video easily. Let's get into the intro. Mentioned in the intro, I have gone crazy over the last 2 weeks, which is insane because I still have Midsummer Scream to go to, And I know that I'm going to find some great small businesses and creators there that I'm going to give my money to. I am irresponsible and maybe slightly unhinged, but that's why y'all watch these videos, because you are too. Honestly, though, I think that as far as Marshalls and TJ Maxx and HomeGoods are all concerned, and Michaels still has to put out their, based off of what I'm seeing on their site, they still have to put out the midnight something or another. I can't think of what it is right now, but it's the one that's got the Dracula, the Lugosi Dracula in it collection that they have. Of course, I need to see that bust in person. Personally, while I love that they somehow got the likeness of Lugosi and got the okay for it, I hope they got the okay for it, something about it's off-putting. Something about it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. But they have a planner that isn't bug-eyed and everything and blue-eyed that I'm really eyeing, and I know for a fact that I'm going to want it. There are also some items that can possibly work for my apothecary, my witch kitchen apothecary theme. So I'm holding out a little bit for that. Other than that, while I do, once again, I'll say it all day, I love that Michaels is really branching out and including a lot of the many different people in the spooky community in their collections this year. Do I wish that they bring back their vintage Halloween stuff? Yes, that's why I've been buying off of eBay. I wish it so much that they would bring back the lines that they were doing in the early 2000s and like the late, like right before 2020. I think 2020 was the last year they did it. Or maybe a little bit in 2021. But basically, I got into the home decor hunting game late because literally the year that I got into it, vintage was out and all of the witchy stuff was in and purple and all these bright colors. And love that for other people. Will not yuck somebody's yum on that. However, I miss the vintage Halloween. It's the Midwest in me. I'll say it all day. It's the Midwest princess in me. No, honestly, I love it, but and the white decor that they're coming out, they named it something else, but I was talking to a friend who's also into Halloween decor hunting, but she's a bit of a minimalist, and we dubbed it the Insane Asylum collection. Because it's like all white. I think they called it like Haunted Manor or something along those lines. I prefer my Insane Asylum collection title for it. It's got better marketing behind it. As well as I think they're putting out their cutesy line, of course, like they do every year. That's like, okay, you've got 2 cutesy lines this year. I don't think that you needed to put out another cutesy line. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm against the cutesy lines existing. It's just we didn't need 2 this year. We got that handled. So all that being said, I am looking forward to the Dracula bust that they're putting out and keeping my eyes open for that. Other than that, there's not a lot more, and I'm saying that now, and, you know, in another week or 2 when they put out that collection, we'll see if I'm still sticking to that because I'm crazy. But the planter is the main thing I'm looking for. I'm not a huge fan of the rework they did on their Frankenstein this year, and personally, I think it's because they lost rights with that distributor, because I've been seeing that Frankenstein that they've been putting out for years now showing up in HomeGoods. Which I think it's appropriate for me to maybe talk about this now. I have noticed this year more repeats in merchandise than I have any other year. Now, I am new to the game, only been Halloween decor hunting maybe 3 years or so. But I've been seeing a lot of repeats. Like, a lot of repeats. The Frankenstein stuff that was in high demand last year, they said, okay, say less. We're going to make more. We're going to make so much that the shelves are full of it and nobody wants it. I've seen, you know, a couple of the Bride and Frankenstein. We only needed 1. I don't think we needed 5 different versions of the Frankenstein and Bride. This year's trends are Frankenstein and Bride, ghosts, vampires. which I think we could have called because Universal Monsters really amped up. I don't know if they're on an anniversary this year. I have not checked that. But there has been huge amounts of marketing behind Universal Monsters this year. Just like constant releases. They're on social media everywhere. Their social media webpage is actually doing memes and stuff and becoming relevant. I think that they're on the edge of an anniversary, I think. Like the creation of Universal Monsters. Somebody fact check me in the comments on that. I may put a caption down at the bottom if I look it up. But I don't think that I've seen anything that said specifically, yeah, we're on an anniversary. That's why we've ramped up our marketing efforts. So, the idea that we're seeing a lot of Universal Monsters out there, which is why this was the year for me to have a Monster Mash movie area, because I'm in high supply of things for that area. I actually really need to pull back on getting anything for that area because I think I was concerned that I didn't have enough for that. And now I don't think that's a concern anymore, especially when I have my video that's coming out later on this week that's in support of thrifting and buying from others as well as small business support. So yeah, I don't think that we should be surprised regarding that, but as somebody who only really has collected some of the monster stuff because of my specific theme this year, and someone who isn't a huge fan of ghosts for different reasons, as well as very particular about the ghosts that she does get, it hasn't been that, exciting. Like, I've seen some things here and there. Obviously, we're here. But I haven't been like, oh, I need that one and that one and that. Like, last year, I felt like I was taking screenshots of things every 2 seconds. This year, I haven't felt the same. And I've actually sat there and seen some of the things that I'm hunting for out in the wild and gone, you know what? That can be somebody else's blessing. I don't think that is what I thought it was. And the idea of repainting it or repurposing it so that it does really fit for me to be like absolutely in love with it seems like against the whole let's save some money, budget. I could leave that there for somebody else who may want it just as it is and love it, and go find something that I truly, absolutely love. Either I could take that money and buy something vintage on eBay, or give it to a small business, or take my butt to Savers or a thrift store or Goodwill and buy 5 different things for the same price of that one thing. Perspective, people, perspective. So yeah, I've just noticed that. And regardless of what you were seeing today, somehow I feel like I am holding back. This is, keep in mind, 2 weeks of me doing things and looking around. And I am somebody who does batch rewards with the things that I have to do. So for instance, I have to take my butt to the gym 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Guess what's on my route to the gym? 2 Marshalls, 2 HomeGoods, and as of yesterday, I found out a Goodwill. So do I leave the house a little bit earlier so I can stop at those places on my way to the gym as a reward? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I'm visiting these places 3 times a week. That sounds crazy out loud. Yeah, that definitely sounds crazy out loud. Okay, let's get into the haul. To start off, I'm going to start with Michael's. 1, because there was an upset this year. I have been a proponent for years of buy the 10 houses from Target. Buy the 10 houses from Target. If you want a Lee Mack Spooky Town, those buildings cost so much money. Just buy the little figures and then buy the 10 houses. Here is your Spooky Town that still has a bunch of character, but you didn't break the bank. This year, they got me. This year, Lee Max got my dollars. And I knew that they were already going to get my money when they put out the trick-or-treating houses that had the ghouls and the monsters and stuff outside, because I was just like, okay, this is great. For years, they've just been doing a lot of monster houses and everything. They haven't done a lot of the trick-or-treaters since the early 2000s, and I want some trick-or-treaters in my spooky town. So I was like, okay, got it. I'm definitely going to shell out money for those houses. What I did not think that I was going to spend money on was any of their establishments. 1, because they cost $100 and up. Even with the discount, I'm sorry, but you're just not going to get me with that type of money. And then I went to Michael's with my partner, and he saw this, and I loved it as well, but I was just like, that's too much money. And then we decided we were gonna split it. We were gonna Dutchman it out. And then it became an idea of, well, that's around $40. Is the Lee Max Fright Night Theater. I know. This thing, when it's on, here, I'm not taking it out the box. And there's a bit of a glare, so that works. This theater is amazing. It has the classic theater like marquee sign on the front of it. It has Dracula, a werewolf, a zombie, and the Blob. The Blob glows, and it's got like a little hand sticking out of it in the front. It has this cool little banner at the front that also kind of looks like teeth. It has these two great ghosts that float in the window of the theater. If you look behind the ghosts, there's even attention to detail because there's a screen as well as an actual theater that has monsters sitting in it to watch the show. It has all of these posters that go around the theater based on real movies. It has a ghost up here at the top. It has pumpkins over here, but along with that, it has a tentacled monster coming out of the side over on this side. There is so much attention to detail here, and it was so much fun. Like, this turned on is so much fun, and me and my partner being huge movie watchers, or especially around Halloween, we just absolutely thought that this would be a great fit, and it was worth the money. Now, what is it without discount? $100. Was I going to pay $100 on my own for this? No. It was 20% off, which took it down to $80. Then me and my partner were like, my partner was like, I really, really like that. I'll split it with you. Now, $40, that seems more obtainable. And I think I had some, like, a coupon and some dollars. So all that being said, it became affordable. I would never buy this full price, but this, I mean, it's not to say that it's not worth it considering what is on it. Like, it's just so much fun. It's absolutely so much fun. But these things get expensive. Do not expect me to continue making a habit out of this. I can see how people make a habit out of it because they'll rationalize for it. But not me. Now, that being bought, I've seen they finally released some brand new tin houses at Target because they've released their hide and eek line online. And I will be getting those. Those are $10 a piece from Target. I'll pick those up. That's it on the Spooky Town. I've picked up some things here and there, which I'll be showing you from Michael's for the Spooky Town because they re-released their miniature line, which they did for some years. But I am not going to make a habit out of, like, getting a lot of things for it because I already have a Christmas town that I thrift for. And I don't really thrift for the Spooky Town because you don't really find it in stores, like that type of look. As well as just the fact of I will definitely buy more miniatures for it throughout the years. But I don't, and if I find like a Limax building that I'm like, that is absolutely amazing to put in between these 10 houses, I think that that's still a good look. But I still think that these are really expensive, and I don't need another expensive habit, obviously. So while I'm very, very excited that I have that, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like with all of my other houses, I'm really, really looking forward to creating the Spooky Town this year and creating this new platform on my shelf so that I can better display all of that. I'm not making a habit out of it, but that was one of my big purchases from Michael's. They're not getting me on anything else. Limax got a lot of my money this year with those 3 houses and now this theater. That's it. They don't get no more of my money. That being said, I did have another house. This was because my partner really wanted this. It was one of their little houses they created in the miniature line. He thought this was so adorable. And it is. It absolutely is. I love it. I really do want to putting some of these like actual houses that aren't haunted houses in the Spooky Town space, or just period. Like, I could see this happening in my nostalgic trick-or-treater type of space that's happening on my bookshelf. I was completely fine with, and this little this little lamp, this little gas lamp on the side, and all the little cute little figures and the owl and this cute little ghost even back there. These are all cute. Very, very cute. And it was affordable. He really loved it, so we picked it up. I'm not sure if I would have picked it up if he maybe wasn't with me, though. I do feel like this was influenced. I was influenced by my mans. Then, speaking of those miniatures that we spoke of earlier, I had to pare this down a lot because I was starting to get a little crazy. They have like a tarot deck table situation that is really, really cute. However, I don't build doll houses, and it didn't make sense for like my outdoor spooky town or anything, so that was left there. But if you are somebody who builds doll houses and dioramas, their miniature line, Michael's miniature line, is really, really cute this year. I did pick up this little mini jack-o'-lantern. It's like a mini version of the ceramic jack-o'-lantern lantern that I got last year from Ross. And it was so cute and kind of vintage looking, and it actually lights up. So I picked that up for sure. I was like, this is a little mini that won't be going in my spooky town, but it will be going somewhere like amongst my vintage items, and I thought that was really cute. And then I also thought that this was really, really great, and it was this miniature of this witch coven around a cauldron. I loved this because, of course, they included not just a white witch, but they included 2 other witches that are obviously of color. And I was so happy to see Michaels do that. As I've talked about frequently on this channel, unfortunately, while Christmas, you know, having Black Santas and angels and stuff like that during Christmas time has become more and more of something that we see quite often now, unfortunately, the same has not been said for Halloween. If you go to your local HomeGoods or Marshalls or TJ Maxx or any of those places, all the witches you're going to see, for the most part, are all going to be white witches. I got the one black witch that, you know, HomeGoods has been selling, and she's great. I love her. Her face is a little bit, her nose is a little okay, but I really love her. And there's another one that I got recently that's like a large one and a younger looking one that is racially ambiguous that I also got. I always snatch those up because unfortunately the representation there is nearly zero. And so I really, really love that Michaels sat there and did this because they don't even do it in the Lemax figures. You have to paint the Lemax figures. I saw one this year, before anybody says it, saw one this year that did have a witch, a younger witch in the garden who is like a black witch. But the other ones I've seen so far, I haven't seen a lot of them, and I haven't even seen that witch in the garden anywhere in the Michaels stores yet. So I did get this for my spooky town. And that was it for the miniatures. I am not buying any other miniatures. They're really cute. I had to, you know, take some of this down from what I originally had in the cart because we were buying the theater. But that's it on the miniatures. I'm telling y'all, you could buy stuff for a spooky town all day. And they want you to. Then I also went to Michael's and they started putting out a lot of their foliage stuff for their wreaths and everything. As y'all know, I am building my witch kitchen, so I did pick up some things that were both on sale in their spring stuff because I believe it's all 60% off right now, as well as picked up some things that I knew that I absolutely wanted for the witch kitchen and didn't want the possibility of it being really popular. And so I got them as well. We got some reindeer moss. This was apparently a part of their spring collection, so with it being 60% off, it was originally $6.99. Honestly, this, don't go out and buy, like, you can buy like the huge bags of this stuff too. I don't need that much. I mean, I think that I even, from when I did my project last Halloween for my creature, my morning creature situation, I think I still have like some moss sitting somewhere, but it's a certain color. You go out and buy, you can buy that if you think you need a lot of it. If you don't need a lot of it and you want varying colors, just get like stuff from their spring collection. Because it's, this, in the right context, this still works. they're gonna charge, I looked at, they also have this stuff, this reindeer moss for their Halloween collection. They're selling it for the full price of $6.99. If you walk over to the clearance items, they're selling the same stuff in a different bag and different packaging for half the price, more than half the price. Just buy the stuff in the spring collection if you're doing the same thing I'm doing, which is the whole witch kitchen idea. I also picked up, I couldn't wait, because I absolutely love these, and everywhere I've seen, they seem like there's a lower supply of these than their bones and flies and stuff, and I didn't want to wait to get these teeth filler, these little glass teeth fillers that they have this year to put in both my witch kitchen and other places. I just thought that these looked so crazy, and I really, really love them. I even think that you can take like some brown paint and age them up a little bit if you're going for that look. My partner definitely has the ick from these, but I didn't care. These were fantastic. I then also got some fruit picks from their, I've got more, from their spring lines that were on sale. So I took advantage of that, both for the witch kitchen. Gotta have some natural foliage of some sort. These apples, far too red for me, so I'm probably going to age them up a little bit. But I thought these plums looked really great. And I really liked the, like, kind of the golden leaves they used on this pear. So I may hot glue and Frankenstein some of these things together, but it was really cheap. As well as I got, from the actual Halloween collection, I got the witch hand picks. Here, let's take that out. Look, I loved these so much. I love the color that they used on them. It's like that slime lagoon green. That's really great, and it was kind of like brushed on. And then even this feather stuff that they have on it, it just kind of gave vintage. And I thought these would look really great sticking out of one of my pumpkins or anything like that for my bookshelf area. So I bought 2 of those because I feel like those are going to be popular. They've had the, these I believe are new. They've had the black flocked hand for some years now. And this year I think they even have like a white one that looks, I think it's supposed to look more like a skeleton type of thing, but it looks a little meaty. So I don't know if it's like supposed to be a zombie hand or what. That got left there. I didn't need that. But I did love these, and I have a feeling that they're going to be really popular. So I got them before they went on sale. I loved them more than waiting for them. The same thing for these little tentacle type things. These are, what are they calling this? Purple amaranth. And this is the absolute perfect, like, plant that I'm thinking of for my witch kitchen. Like, again, I want it to be natural and very, like, those purple colors, even these greens, natural things in this kitchen. So I didn't want to wait for that either. I ended up buying that. I know some of y'all are like, you should have just waited for it. Nobody's going to buy those up in huge hordes. That's my mistake. And as well as even getting this, what are they calling this? Large green artichoke. They're calling this an artichoke. This does not give artichoke to me. It gives like, what's the plant from Little Shop of Horrors? I can't think of it right now, but it gives like a baby version of it. Like, this is the seed. This is the seed pod of when that grows up. But I'm not a huge fan of, like, the actual, when you see a bunch of those. Like, I think that At Home has a collection out right now that has, like, the actual Little Shop of Horrors plant everywhere. I'm not a big fan of those. I think that they're kind of cool when people DIY them and put them on their front porch. Other than that, I'm not, like, looking for a statue that looks like it. However, this kind of still gave, like, this alien plant type of idea, and these purple leaves and everything. It gives, like, this is Jurassic. Like this, you're not finding this in everyday garden. They're calling this a green artichoke, but this doesn't feel like an artichoke to me. That may be me not knowing what artichoke looks like, but personally, it felt more like this seed, alien seed type of thing. So I got that as well, and I really loved it. I didn't want the I hadn't seen it really in videos, and so that's the reason why I picked it up, because I was kind of concerned on whether or not I would come across it again and how much like I really, really loved it. So I got me at least one for the possibility of going back when things go on sale and getting more in the future, like maybe one or two more to put in that witch kitchen area. That was everything from Michael's. Let's move on to let's move on to TJ Maxx. I have one thing from TJ Maxx, so, but it was also a TJ Maxx home goods situation, so we'll just move into our home goods items. First, this big thing, which is one of the few really, really, like, I was like, oh, I really, really want this. There's one other thing that I want, and it's these Michael's vintage looking ghost candles. Like, they kind of look like these LED classic vintage candles that have been painted like black and white, and in the bottom of them are like these ghosts. So it looks, they're LED. It looks great. It looks vintage. I love it. I'm still looking for them everywhere. One of the very few things that I'm like really, really hunting for. And this was one of the first things that I saw, and I was like, I need that item. And I got very lucky one day. First place that I went to actually had it, and they had two. This witch statue. Let's get a good shot, because I think that's going to be the screen. Yeah, this witch is absolutely stunning. She's gonna get painted, absolutely. But this looked so vintage in the base, the moon, the way the moon looked, and just how this cat the cat is. Now, the cat is glittery. I want to maybe look up ways to take off glitter, or I'm gonna have to probably put some Mod Podge on it so that it stops shedding. The same thing goes for her shoes as well. I wish that it was just a simple paint instead of adding that glitter. Other than that, she's absolutely perfect. I just thought that she looked so vintage. I saw this in a video and I was like, I absolutely have to have that. Now, was she pricey? Yes, at $39.99, but look how large she is, and she's hefty. Like, this isn't like, oh, it's super, super light. So I think that that's still like a price that is very, for what it is. If you went to Traditions is gonna sell this to you for $65 starting price. Absolutely. So I was so, so happy to find her. Yeah, she's gonna get a paint job on her. Last year I did a craft of a vintage looking baby girl witch, and she was also on a moon with her cat and everything. I think they're selling it in Marshalls and Home Goods again this year as well, and she was adorable. However, she wasn't a black witch, and I wanted to do that, and so I think that I'm going to paint her in that same tone as I painted the little girl that I painted last year, as like a grown-up version of that witch. And I think that will be really, really cute. But this was one of my big, I've yet to see anything else in Home Goods and Marshalls, TJ Maxx right now, as far as a lot of the hunting is concerned, that I wanted more than I wanted this. And I'm so happy that I got her. Yeah, I feel like I've not seen her again since I walked into that store anywhere. But who knows, like, maybe it's still early. She may end up like showing up in a lot of different stores after I say this, but I've not seen her a lot, even in a lot of Halloween decor hunting videos. I've seen her once. I never saw her again. So I don't know if she's going to be one that's going to be an easy find this year. But I'm so excited that I found her. And then other things that I've gotten from Home Goods. Okay, this is a part of another situation that I'm looking for currently. Cute. So cute. They came out with these kind of carnival-esque looking little wobblers. This year, this one was $14.99. I have one from last year that is a pumpkin guy who, like, I put like a little pumpkin on top of his hat. He has like a little top hat and everything. And I thought he was adorable. This year, they didn't bring, I think that they brought one of those back, but they brought out these new ones that look, there's this witch one, which she has her little cape in the back. Really, really cute. Love the coloring on her and everything. They have another one that I'm still looking for. I really, really want the match to her, which is a skeleton looking guy who has 3 different balloons, 2 of which are in one hand, and it's a witch and I believe a pumpkin type of paint on it, and then the other one in his other hand is like a cat looking paint on it. Really cute vintage looking folk type of art, and I really want the second one to this one. I've not found him. I am looking for him everywhere. And then they have some other ones too. They have skeletons selling candied apples. They have skeletons. They have like kind of a Day of the Dead looking one that's a little bit done up. I think they have 2 other ones that I've seen. I'm not a huge fan of those others, so I'm not pressed necessarily to find those at all. I just want the other kind of big-bellied one, like this one that's holding the balloons. Was so excited to find this one while I was out Halloween decor hunting the other day. It was at the very end of the day when I was just like, I'm not gonna find anything else, and I found her. So I also found during that same Halloween hunt, I pulled the trigger on this guy. I got this guy finally. Now, for years, HomeGoods has been selling this one for years. And in theory, I should have, like, bought him up immediately. By the way, he's, I believe, $10. Very, very, very affordable. What I realized was throwing me off on why I wasn't like, I need to get this one. One is because of the nose. The nose was throwing me off. I was like, what? Something was wrong. I couldn't figure it out, but now I realize it's the nose. What I'm going to do is paint a triangle nose so it's more jack-o'-lantern, like, it's like, oh, okay, that's definitely a jack-o'-lantern. If they would have done that from the beginning, this would have been, I definitely think more people would have bought these up. Because I feel like every year I see these just sitting around. And either it's because of how many there are and people can find them anywhere and how accessible they are, people aren't just like shoving to get them, or everyone else is also having the same experience with not knowing why they're not absolutely attracted to it, and it's the nose. I feel like it's the nose. So we're gonna fix that, and then once we do, he'll be perfect. I might even age him up a little bit for that whole folksy look, because I love the primitive Halloween look, so I finally figured it out. And so I pulled the trigger on finally getting him. This was one of my first purchases from HomeGoods this year. And surprisingly enough, I don't think that I would have picked this up had I not been doing the witch kitchen, because it wouldn't have fit in any other space in my house, like considering my themes. I got the skeleton head that looks like it's brass. This was $12.99, which I thought is, considering this is $12.99 and that witch I just showed you was $14.99, no rhyme or reason. But, because this is, like, substantial. I got this guy. He looks like he's brass. You guys have probably, if you're a Halloween decor hunter, you've probably seen him everywhere. This was one of the first purchases I made from a HomeGoods, and it was because I thought that this would look great on my shelf for my witch kitchen. Having this, like, brass-looking skeleton type of head. So that's why I got him, and he looks great. I mean, I'm happy with getting him. I think that the only reason, I like how this looks. I really love how this looks. I think the only reason I wouldn't have bought it in recent years, because I think this is a repeat. I've seen this before. It's just because it's not vintage or retro or Halloween or anything like that, so it just doesn't fit any of my decor. But this year, this is like right on point for that witch kitchen aesthetic that I'm doing this year. Okay, to end this off, I am going to be doing Marshalls. Now, I feel like there's a HomeGoods purchase that I'm missing. Nope, I just slid in this Marshalls bag. So let me show it to you real quick. I remember I have turned down a lot of plateware this year. I think that, you know, I have versions of that illustrated witch that they put out every year, I believe through the Royal Stafford, or I forget what the name of it is called, line that they do every year, because I really like how those look. I've just realized, what are you going to do with plates? So I've not bought the new ones that they came out with in that line. I've not bought the colorful ones that have illustrations on them that I think really do look great. Then I saw this one, and it was $5. Cute. Cute, right? It's by Ellie and Anna. I thought that this really just was so cute. It fit. It's that Joanna Parker kind of aesthetic, just looking at the ghosts and everything. And I fell in love with it immediately, especially just how wonky and handmade it looked. And it was $5. Again, that's not messing anybody up. But the question now is where are you going to put this? Because, Kelsey, you literally did not get plates this year because you told yourself, what are you going to do with plates other than display them in places? That still remains. It's probably going to go on the coffee table, just to go on the coffee table. And capitalism definitely got the best of me with this purchase. I will say that, absolutely. But I'm also very happy with this purchase. So sometimes you just have to go, it makes me happy. And $5 worth of happiness right here. So that's what I got from HomeGoods. That is the last thing I've gotten so far from HomeGoods. I got that literally yesterday night. We're now going to get into Marshalls. So Marshalls, I've just been coming across a lot more Marshalls, but I found some really great things so far. I've been going in there a lot. I haven't noticed like one store doing or selling a certain item more than another right now as far as TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods are all concerned. There's no TJ Maxx's really near me at all. The one that I just showed you that was the witch, that was one of my Holy Grail items, that was a HomeGoods TJ Maxx combination, so I don't think that really counts considering I was on the HomeGoods side when I found her. But I have plenty of Marshalls in my area, and I've been looking, and usually I can kind of tell what stores are selling. Like last year, Ross really came through with more folksy, vintage-looking Halloween, probably because some of it was cheaper, but that was the place for me. Also finding Joanna Parker. I don't know why, but Ross had all the Joanna Parker last year. That does not seem like it's the case this year. Ross still hasn't started to put out their Halloween. As we all know, they're the ugly stepchild of the franchises of Marshalls and TJ Maxx and HomeGoods. They always get everything last. But we're waiting to see what they're going to provide this year. One of my first purchases from Marshalls this year was a Holy Grail from last year. I bought the bride. I was so, $20. I was so excited. Let's turn on our eyes for once. They'll never go back on again. I'm never showing her with the eyeballs on. Honestly, if I could figure out how to take those out without like ruining it and just put some stuff, and I just don't think that the red eyes does anything for the figure. I've never seen anybody really take pictures of the Frankie or the bride with their eyeballs on very often, but you know, teach their own. I looked everywhere last year for this bride, and to find it this year, just walking by, there were like 2 or 3 in the area. That's why I'm like, I've seen these in almost every single Halloween hunting video I've been watching. I've been seeing them everywhere. Last year, I really felt like they were a Holy Grail hunt because you couldn't really find them. I remember she drove me to call places, and I never call places because I was just feeling like, I'm seeing these in pictures. Is California just not getting them? And I could not find her anywhere. Now, when I saw her, I pulled the trigger and I got her. What I realized is that there are 2 different versions of this bust. So let's talk about that for a second. Well, actually a couple of different versions. One, there's this version that is both the classic looking bride with the black hair and the white skin. And then there is this version with brown hair, not black hair. This is important because I didn't want the brown haired one because that didn't seem correct. And then there's a green version. Also, they have black hair as well as the brown hair. I originally thought that I wanted possibly the green version to go with my Frankenstein bust that I have. However, the more I thought about it, the more that I was just kind of like, that doesn't seem accurate. So I'm definitely feeling like this was the way to go, and that's why I ended up pulling the trigger on her. There's another bust out there that has like the hand, just the one hand sitting here. I don't get it. I don't get, like, she kind of is like looking up a little bit more and she has her hand right. They should have removed that hand because the hand bothers me because it just is hanging there. It's not connected to anything. It's very, very strange. It is, that one's slightly bigger, which I do like, but the hand is throwing me off, just so you know, because I think there's people out there who think that both of these are the same figure, and they slightly are, except for the hand and how big they are. I was just so excited to finally find her. I'm going back and forth on repainting her lips, though. I'm not a huge fan of the paint job they did on her lips, so I may go back and redo that. But other than that, she's going to look really great with the Frankenstein head that I got from Michael's last year, which I'm now seeing pop up everywhere in Marshall's and HomeGoods. Again, I think that Michael's didn't continue their contract with that supplier, and they got a new supplier, and I'm not a huge fan of the new Frankenstein head they have out there. There's a lot of Frankenstein heads. A lot. All over the place. There's I've seen a couple of times, I've not seen the green one, but I've seen the, like, fleshy version of the Frankenstein that's supposed to be, like, the strong-jawed, like, good-looking Frankenstein. And he's got, like, glitter on his suit. I don't know. It's giving Elvis. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I was blown away by finding her, and she was one of my first buys from Marshall's this year. The next thing I got is a much larger purchase, and it was one of the first things that I saw out Halloween decor hunting this year. And at first, I wasn't certain. The price was amazing, but I wasn't certain on where I wanted to put it, and so I was like, I'm gonna leave it there until I can figure that out. This cauldron, it's supposed to be a planner. I will not be using it as a planner, but this was $20, guys. This is actual metal. It's not like, you know, it's got some heft to it for $20. And it's also the cauldron. We can take the stand for it down. The cauldron for it is pretty substantial, and it's got, like, actual little handles here. I think that this was really great. Of course, it's Martha. Martha put this out. And what you may be asking, Kelsey, what are you going to do with that? You already have a cauldron outside. Well, I'm glad you asked. This is going to be our new bread basket during Halloween. With the Witch Kitchen aesthetic and everything, what Witch Kitchen does not have a cauldron? And I thought that this was going to be perfect for that. It's perfect size, and it really comes off as like this is an actual cauldron. This is big enough to fit our bread, our chips, our other things that we throw in our bread basket, and that's another concern when I'm buying things for that purpose. As you guys saw with the cookie jar that I bought this year from At Home, I loved it when I saw it at Joann's, but it was the smaller version, and my partner was like, we can't really fit any cookies in it. Like, that's not going to put a whole sleeve in there. I found the larger one at Home, and I pulled the trigger on that because now it can fit things. We need functional things, so this is definitely large enough to fit those things in, and it'll look, our bread basket sits in the middle of our countertop where our shelves are, where a lot of the things that are going to make up this Witch Kitchen are going to be presented. So having this right in the middle of that space is going to really look great, and at the same time be functional for us to put things that we actually use every day. Before that, we have a zombie Lego head that I got some years from, I think last year from TJ Maxx. And it's really cute, but it's not going to fit for our Witch Kitchen aesthetic. And so I wasn't going to use that. I was probably just going to use the basket that we already have, but I think that that's going to fit so much better for the whole setup that we're going to do. Whether I use the base for it or not is still going to be a question because it's actually really tall with the base. Then my very last purchase that I got, and one of the last things I'm going to show you guys today, Joanna Parker. So, Joanna Parker is starting to show up in the stores. So if you are a fan of her work, I do recommend to head by your Marshalls or your HomeGoods. I've not seen anything in TJ Maxx yet. The other thing is that a lot of these items are from her release from last year. That was a boutique exclusive. So if you were a big fan of that line, you should start looking because they're going to be out in stores right now. This is my Halloween mug. I am allowed one mug a year. I'm not the one with the mug problems, the crazy part. My partner is. But I'm allowed one mug a year. This is it. I've chosen it early on. This was $7. And one thing I love, it is a deep one. I am a gas guzzler when it comes to my morning coffee. And this is very classic looking. It's going to look so cute just sitting on the shelves, let alone me drinking out of it being proper. The other thing that my main concern is this dip in here for the pumpkin head. That is a concern just on me drinking out of the vessel. Sometimes I am not a huge fan of that because they put these lips in there and so you have to overcompensate so you can get it in your mouth. I did feel like this one was going to be fine and it feels good in the hand. It's, again, very large and very classic looking, and I chose this as my mug this year. My partner is like, that's a great mug. I still gotta find mine. And my last item that I found while I was out is another Joanna Parker, Joanna, I think it's Joanna, like Rihanna, Joanna Parker line item, which is this cute black cat, classic black cat bowl. Super cute. I think I didn't even show like the mug up close, so let's show both of these up close. Yes. I have some knockoff Joanna Parker salt shakers that I use as small statues in my like vintage looking areas. But I don't have like the actual salt shaker like of this cat or anything. But I've always really loved the look of the black cat in the Joanna Parker line. And I've always thought that it was cute. It was a cute classic cat. And I'm really happy to have like this little bowl now from her line. This one was $12.99, also from Marshalls. So last year I finally got the pumpkin punch bowl that was from Joanna Parker. And I got it for a crazy price from Ross because the top was broken off of it. You couldn't tell, it just seemed like it was just a bowl, but it was supposed to come with the top, and so they gave me like 30% off on it. I think I got it for, I want to say $15. So it's much larger than this, but I was just so happy that that was my first Joanna Parker piece. No, I've gotten salt shakers, the pumpkin salt shakers from Joanna Parker. That was my very first Joanna Parker piece. That was my first big Joanna Parker piece. Now we have these to the collection. I'm not like a huge fan of like the witches and Frankensteins that she puts out, and I don't collect her Christmas items at all. But some of her items really, really look great. The drying mat that she has out and even her placemats, they look great. I just don't have any use for them. But I was really excited to see these because I had literally seen them in another hunting video or photo maybe a day or two before, and I really wanted to see those out and about, and they had just put them out at Marshalls because I had been there a couple of days before, the week before, and I didn't see them out. So I know that and there were too many there for them to have just put it out. So that was my last purchase there. So that's everything, y'all. That is my TJ Maxx, HomeGoods, Marshalls Michael's haul for you all instead of the vlog that usually comes out this week. I already had so much stuff accumulating from all of my other things that I've been buying from this year, as well as we have Midsummer Scream coming up. Reading sprints still need to happen. I know that I'm going to inevitably probably find some other things while I'm online and everything. So it was starting to get far too much over there, and I was just like, we got to do a haul. It's been 2 weeks as well. Let's get a haul out the way. All things considered, now looking at the actual items, when things are in a bag, it seems like it's a lot more. I'm not saying that this isn't a lot. I'm just saying that it seemed like it was a lot more. I'm really happy with my purchases this year. I think one thing that I have been doing, regardless of, you know, that it is a good amount, I am being conscientious with what I am getting. There have been many times where I've seen something online and screenshot it and then gone to the store, seeing it in person, and I'm just like, I don't think that's for me. It's not really working for me. I'm gonna leave it there. Or just being at the store and seeing something that may be cute, but it doesn't fit any of my themes. And I'm going, okay, that's cute. And I can stay cute in somebody else's home who maybe has that theme or would love it more. I think having that perspective has really helped me from not, like, stress buying things based on, and things being in the store so early this year, it is so easy for us to be able to do that. As y'all know, I am not one to go run, walk, must buy, or anything like that when I do these hauls or I Halloween hunt. Because to be honest with you, you don't need to buy any of this stuff. You don't need to run to your local Home Goods and bang down the doors for something that's out there. Don't be crazy. Don't be a mean shopper either. These people sit there and they sell us goods because it's their 9 to 5 and their job. There's no reason we need to harass them. That's why I'm usually not a person who calls. That's why last year when I was calling to see if they had place, it was because I was at my rope and I was just kind of like, I'm wasting gas going around everywhere and I'm going insane. But even then, it wasn't something that I was just like doing every day. I did it once. At the end of the day, we don't need any of these things. We get them because it does make us happy, but it's because we want them, not because we need them. And that perspective is really important this year as you're shopping around, as these stores get more and more clued in on the fact that people want this and they're putting out more of it and putting it out earlier. It is so important for us to keep that in mind. Buy what you really truly do want. And don't buy it simply because everyone else in the world is buying it and you're afraid of another year or two or decade down the line going, God, I wish I would have bought. There's always going to be something else out there that you're going to want. Everything that I wanted last year that I did not remember that I was searching for endlessly, I mean, aside from the bride, I must have really wanted her. I can't even remember what half of those things were now. Because there's so many new things that are coming out. There's new themes that I've thought of. There's new experiences. Perspective is so important, y'all. And I always want to end like these hauls or these hunting videos that way because it's so important for us to keep that in mind. Don't break your bank and go broke trying to buy these things. Don't sit here and drive yourself crazy trying to buy these things. It's not necessary. It's literally because we do it for fun, and as soon as it stops being fun, we shouldn't be doing it anymore. But I'm really happy with the things that I've gotten so far. Like, going through all of these, I've not had one where I went, why did I buy that? But like, I'm putting on a brave face because I already bought it or anything. I've not done any of that. I'm super excited to show you guys. I don't want to call it a part 2 because it's not really a part 2 to this haul. Because then next thing you know, like, we're just doing parts throughout the whole season. But my haul for my small businesses and thrifting and everything, I really wanted to have a video that was specifically for those types of like stores, aside from the big box stores, just because of the fact that I think it's important. I think every year, everybody goes Halloween decor hunting at those places because it's fun. You know, you never know what you're going to find there, and it's a part of the hunt. Those places, like I said, like the witch that I really wanted, $40. That was still expensive. Like, you know, regardless of me being in love with the piece, the Limax house that I found, $40 when I split it with my partner, you know? It's important for those $40 could have made somebody so happy who was an artist and owned a small business, you know, or the $40 to go towards donations at a Savers or a Goodwill or a Salvation Army, or even you keeping your money because you're actually on a budget and finding the creativity in finding actual primitive or folk art or actual vintage items at your local Goodwill or thrift stores is also just as fun. Even buying on eBay, I think that some people who are like, well, you know, even I've heard a lot of conversation recently on how detrimental it is to also be driving around all over the place and putting that exhaust in the air as we go out Halloween decor hunting has been a conversation as of lately. Okay, there's ways to even get past that. Buy online, buy from small businesses, buy on Etsy, buy on eBay. I mean, eBay is like the largest I look at eBay like it's one big garage sale. I'm just like, okay, who's selling what today from their basement? Who's found something? I love the hunt of trying to find something that's really worth something, and maybe the person's just trying to get rid of it. Like last year, one of my biggest finds was a Ben Cooper mask. That was Spider-Man, and somebody was just, you could tell they were just trying to get it out of their attic. They sold it for $20. When there's other people who, you know, livelihoods and all of that concern, I respect that entirely. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not paying those prices simply because I don't respect your hustle. I'm not paying those prices because I can't afford them. So let's be clear on that. But, you know, something like that would have easily been $50, $60. I love that. I love finding the deal. So, and that's definitely something that I've taken advantage of and done this year. That's why I have so many eBay packages. Buying from resellers and people who are clearing out their closets or their mother's, like, you know, collections or whatever the case is, finding that Michael's vintage line that I am like constantly upset. Sometimes I'll just watch like Halloween hunting videos from that era just to get ideas of what I want in my collection, or even just to get ideas of things to hunt on eBay for. And as of late, I've been hitting the jackpot on some of those things, finding some of those items and people reselling them. Some people don't know that Ashland is the Michaels brand. And so they're reselling it, just going, here's this Ashland item. I'm not really sure what that is, but it looks like vintage decor. Or they're like, oh, this is actual vintage decor. Watch out for people like that, because it's not. It's just Halloween stuff that looks that way. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. I've been having a lot of fun with shopping small businesses. Shout out to Cozy Coven Ashland. Yes, I believe I got that right. Again, I don't have my phone in my hand, but I will have her info linked down below, because she really put into perspective, if you are into the primitive and vintage Halloween, all of that stuff is artist made to begin with. So just buy from artists who make that work. And I think that was a big eye-opener to me, that especially as an artist and a small business owner, why wasn't I buying from that before? So I definitely switched gears sometime about 2 weeks ago and really started looking for artists who were making Halloween items, who were handmade and really great. And at least then I knew like my money was going somewhere that like they cared about where my money, that they were living off of my money, you know? So I can't wait to show you guys that stuff. That one's gonna be a long one. All of my videos are long ones, but I know for a fact that's gonna be a long one because I'm looking at it right now, and it is twice the size of what I just showed you today, which is exciting. You should subscribe if you're looking forward to that as well. Like this video if you guys had fun today, taking a look at what I've picked up so far. Again, Midsummer Scream is coming up, and that one's going to, I'm positive, is going to have a haul. So it's going to be a vlog and a haul all in one, something similar to when I did the spooky swap meet for halfway to Halloween. We are, surprisingly enough, we are about to be in the midst of the middle of Halloween decor hunting season. I know that's crazy to say out loud, but especially after the Midsummer Scream convention, we're going to be in August, which is usually the very middle of Halloween hunting season. And I'm feeling like unless I really start seeing them put out more stuff, which I have a theory that HomeGoods and TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I'm seeing a lot of repeats from last year, mainly because they saw how early Michaels and Joann's put their stuff out, and in order to feed the demand, they put out things that were already sitting in their warehouses out on the floor. So I have an idea. I'm not sure if I'm even right about it. Don't hold me to it, but I have an idea that come end of July, beginning of August, we're going to see a lot of brand new items in those stores that we haven't seen before. Because I think that was the original launch date for a lot of these stores to start getting things. What we're seeing in stores right now, a good majority of it is a lot of stuff that they had left over from last year that hadn't been shipped out in time for the end of the season. That's my idea. I have no clue if I'm correct on that one. But we have at least another Michaels haul coming up, because we have to get the vampire planter, and they're putting out all of their, I can't think of what, it's midnight something, and I cannot think of what the other word is for it, but it's with their monster stuff and their fortune teller stuff and everything. There's some things from that line that I really do want to get, so there's at least that coming up. We're still looking for those 2 items, those candles from Martha Stewart's line, as well as the little wobbler that has the balloons, like the witch that we had. Those are the 2 that I'm looking for. Everything else, I've not seen anything else as of late that really is pulling at me. Like, okay, we're hunting for it. We're definitely out there going. I think if I find those 2 things within the next 2 weeks, great. And I find nothing else when I'm looking online or seeing other creators' videos or posts, I'll probably slow down on going to Marshalls and HomeGoods and TJ Maxx's often, and kind of just go in there ever so often because it's on my way to the gym. Ross still has to put out their things, so inevitably I think it'd be very weird if Ross didn't put out anything that I didn't like because of how much I found for great prices there last year. So we will stay tuned for that. I still personally need to gather more things for my apothecary kitchen, my witch kitchen, because I still feel like there's just not enough. I need to really take a look at what I have for my bookshelf area, because I love vintage Halloween period, so I'm going to be shopping for that regardless if I'm really attracted to it. But I need to really kind of think, okay, do I love that? Yes. Do I absolutely need it because I have a lot of vintage Halloween that can go in that space already? That's the question. Spooky Town's already handled. As soon as those 10 houses come to Target, I'm buying those up. Other than that, I think I really need to see some things in their line in person, like their blow molds, because I wasn't really blown away by anything I was seeing on the Hide and Eek website. Threshold may release some things this year that are crazy, because I know in past years, their Halloween stuff really does look great. So they may release something that really catches my attention. I know that they have not released anything on the site yet for what will be coming from them. That's it. As far as my Monster Mash area is concerned, I really need to slow down there. I just got some really great pieces on Etsy that are like these VHS cassette tapes that are bleeding. Fantastic. And I definitely will be getting some cassette tapes of my favorite Halloween movies. I haven't pulled the trigger on getting them just yet, just because I know that they're going to be on eBay. They're going to be for good prices. If I can find them in the thrift store for even cheaper, that's great. But I see myself really getting those things at the very end of the season when I'm about to decorate, if I've not found those movies by the end of the season. Other than that, the Monster Mash area I think is pretty much settled, because there's been just so much to be able to just get out there. So I think that's something that I really need to take into consideration going to Midsummer Scream this year. I know that there will be a ton of stuff there for your favorite scary horror films and everything. So I know that I really want to get some things that are unique from the convention, because I think I've covered everything else. It would be great to maybe get something from The Shining that's very much The Shining specific, because I don't have anything from that movie, and that's something we usually only watch during Halloween. The Craft, I would love more of the Craft merchandise. Like, I'm definitely gonna get the VHS soon. Like probably near the end of the Halloween hunting season if I don't find it at a thrift store. But there are no The Craft dolls that were ever really released. I haven't seen any personally. I'd probably love some more Buffy or Charmed, like that type of stuff. I'm covered on Scream and Halloween and all of that. I want some more like 90s girl pop witch stuff. That is my focus for the Midsummer Scream like haul. I would love more, of course, vintage stuff, but The Craft, Charmed, the early seasons, Buffy, those are kind of things that I would love to find more of to have in the space, because those are really specific to my experience of watching what I watch around the Halloween season. And there's not a lot of it, and I'm feeling like, okay, I need to go out and make my own, but it would be nice to find some of that. And I think the place where I would find it would be Midsummer Scream. I do want to, continue looking on Etsy to find things that aren't just t-shirts for those things. But we will see. I'm really excited to show y'all what I got so far, though, in this weekend's vlog. More than likely, it will be coming out Monday. At this point, just expect at least 2 videos a week from me, somewhat, or me putting them out when I can. I know that YouTube wants you to put it out on a schedule, and for a minute I had it on a schedule, but there's just so much to be putting out, and like even editing this, I'll have to edit it, then I'll have to put illustrations on it, and it has to be, I remember I put out a Halloween hunting video recently, and I accidentally, somehow the music got dropped out of like the first video montage. It drove me crazy, but it'd been up for like a day and a half by that point. So it was just like, okay, you're just gonna have to let it go. I have jabbed my jaws entirely too much for the length of this haul. Please subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and if you're looking for more Halloween hauls and hunting videos. As I've just said at the end of this whole video, there is a lot more to come. We are in the season for it, and we will be crafting soon, which I am so excited for, because I have some big plans for those crafting videos. Not just for what those crafts are, but possibly a new setup. Maybe you don't always have to see me in my book corner anymore. I know, big things are happening. But subscribe if you're looking forward to that. Subscribe if you also love book content. I do not just do Halloween decor and crafting and everything on this channel. I also read a ton of horror, thriller, weird girl, lit fic, and I do reviews and wrap-ups at the end of every month, as well as specialty videos every now and then when I'm tagged, or in the part of the year when we're not Halloween decor hunting or Christmas decor hunting or any of those things. So follow along if you also are looking for that. Like this video down below if you enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna try that thing where people go, if you got to the end of this video, because it was such a long one, add a jack-o'-lantern emoji. I want to see how many people actually get to the end of these videos. And I think that sometimes it's fun to kind of have that Easter egg at the end, because I always add an emoji. So add a jack-o'-lantern emoji. Add also, in addition to the jack-o'-lantern emoji, add your favorite Halloween emoji. Because I think that would be interesting to see how many different emojis people associate with something from Halloween or Halloween specific. That'll be fun. Okay. I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.